UFC Fight Night Austin Cater vs Emmett just took place, and I'm going to go through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving my reaction and breakdown to every single fight on the card, and my overall event recap as well. What an amazing card this was. Amazing finishes, top to bottom, every fight delivered. I'm going to start straight away with the early prelim opener of Roman Dolidze versus Kyle Daukaus. Not much was going on, and then everything was going on. Roman Dolidze lands a right hand behind the ear on Kyle Daukaus, then a left hand behind it, right on the chin, puts down Daukaus immediately, and in the scramble while Daukaus is trying to get back up to his feet, Roman Dolidze flattens him with a massive knee to the face against the cage and puts him down badly, and also gets a performance bonus for his troubles as well. An amazing performance by Roman Dolidze. I was really impressed. I picked Kyle Daukaus to win, but Roman Dolidze showed up, man. He had a really good performance. Good for him. He got a performance bonus as well, I think. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure every single male fight on this card got a performance bonus, other than Ismagulov versus Kutateladze, but every single fight delivered, every male fight delivered, and this was a great performance by Roman Dolidze. His last fight wasn't too interesting, so he really revamped himself and gave people more to be interested by, with a brutal finish in the first round as the underdog. Moving on up the card, Phil Hawes versus Deron Winn now. If I was Deron Winn, I'd rather just get KO'd. Phil Hawes put a beating on Deron Winn. A brutal beatdown. He was smacking him around. He dropped him multiple times. It says he only dropped him once with one knockdown, but he was wobbling him and well near putting him down about 4 or 5 times in that matchup. Smacking him with elbows as Deron Winn tried to close the distance. Hooks, straight shots, knees to the face, everything. Deron Winn has a hell of a chin. He took so many big shots in that matchup and kept trying to make something happen other than grappling, though. That was the main problem. Phil Hawes was the guy to go for takedowns. Deron Winn did not shoot a single takedown that had any kind of intent whatsoever in this matchup. Phil Hawes shot 3 takedowns and got one of them. Ended up on top, landing a couple of blows on Deron Winn. Deron Winn is so tough and I respect him, but in terms of his fight IQ, dude, you're a wrestler. Wrestle against the striker in Phil Hawes. I know that maybe there was a chance he could pull it back because Phil Hawes has shown in his career that his chin isn't the best. So maybe Deron Winn was hoping that maybe Phil Hawes would go for him and then he would catch him on the counter and put away Phil Hawes with a counter blow. And I was wondering at some point in that second round, like, if Phil Hawes doesn't get this finish, is he going to gas out? Because he's an explosive guy and he kept on throwing, but luckily he gets it done. Not luckily. I mean, Deron Winn should have been out of there. He's lucky that he was even able to stay in there for that long because that chin is out of this world. He took such a beating off of Phil Hawes. It was a vicious beatdown. Phil Hawes destroyed him start to finish. Big shots, step-in elbows, lead elbows as Deron Winn tried to close the distance as well. It was a real vicious beatdown and an amazing performance by Phil Hawes. He got the job done and a performance bonus for him too. Moving on, Eddie Wineland versus Cody Stamann. Another performance bonus. Cody Stamann goes out there and gets a brutal first round finish on Eddie Wineland. He lands the first shot, which kind of knocks Eddie Wineland off balance. It doesn't really rock him too badly, and he lands like a shoveling left hook as Wineland's getting back up to his feet. And let's just face it, Wineland's chin is gone. In all honesty, it just is gone. He took shots very well in his career. He'd been KO'd a couple of times in his career, of course. Renan Barão hit him with that spinning back kick to the face. Johnny Eduardo KO'd him as well. But since then, he hasn't been finished by strikes whatsoever. Then O'Malley put him out cold. Really badly out cold. And since then, it seems like anyone who lands any half-decent shot on him, he just seems to go down or get wobbled immediately. And Eddie Wineland got put away, retired. I wish he got an Octagon speech because, you know, Roxanne Modafferi, who achieved nothing in her career, got an Octagon interview for her retirement. Same for Felice Herrig, who achieved nothing. She got an Octagon speech. I was hoping that Wineland would get one as well because he definitely retired, took his gloves off, put them on the ground. But yeah, Cody Stamann, vicious combos, finished off Eddie Wineland against a cage who just wasn't defending himself and got himself a 50k bonus. Moving on up the card, Maria Oliveira versus Gloria de Paula. You know what? It was reasonably entertaining. However, it was so low level that I kind of don't even really enjoy it that much. It was good. It was active. Like, they did go for each other and try and make a fight happen and stuff like that, but it was just a bit sloppy the whole way through. And Gloria to Paula, she honestly has an argument for winning. It was a very close fight. I ended up giving, I believe, the first and third to Maria Oliveira just because she was landing more and she got a takedown here and there in certain moments and ended up on top at the end of the rounds and stuff like that. But I gave Gloria to Paula round 2. The first and third round, in my opinion, went to Maria Oliveira. She missed a lot of shots, though, so it's really a close fight. I mean, it was a split decision. I picked Maria Oliveira to win by upset. She was a big underdog. And, yeah, it was just a bit cringy watching her do all of the, like, bravado stuff. Like, yeah, I'm tough. When in reality, you're just spamming shots out of range and missing all of them. Same with Gloria to Paula. Gloria to Paula just needed to do a little bit more in rounds 1 and 3 to secure that win for herself. But Maria Oliveira kept getting takedowns at the end. And if it's going to be a close round, you get a takedown at the end. You're throwing more. You're being more busy. You're going to get it swayed in your favor. Maria Oliveira gets it done. Close fight. Not very technical whatsoever, but it was reasonably fun for a women's MMA fight. Moving on, up the card, Ricardo Ramos versus Danny Chavez. A good fight on the card. Ricardo Ramos puts him away. Brutal. This is the quickest event recap I've maybe ever done, because every single fight is so easy to describe, especially the male ones, because Ricardo Ramos, not much was going on. Chavez landed a couple of leg kicks. Ramos was spinning a bunch. And then Ramos was noticing that Chavez was circling right the entire time, so he crowded him against the cage and stepped in, faked low, and threw a spinning elbow, and it landed flush on Danny Chavez, who froze up against the cage, twitching, looking off into the distance, completely out of it on his feet, and then Ricardo Ramos finished him off with a couple of follow-up shots, and Danny Chavez protested to finish because he had no idea where he was. Ricardo Ramos, young guy, got a performance bonus for sure. Really good performance, man. Really great spinning elbow finish. Honestly, that was really good. That was a shocking win. I just really would have preferred it, and I don't know about you guys, but I would really have preferred it if he would just let it go and see what happened to Chavez once he landed that spinning elbow, because you could have seen Chavez just stuck there, like, against the cage. You know what I mean? That would have been a crazy KO. But this one was cool as well, of course. Amazing win. I'm just nitpicking at what could have been a little bit better, I guess. I wish guys would try a little few more walk-offs now and again. Who knows? But even still, amazing win by amazing win by Ricardo Ramos. Spinning elbow right on the temple. Great work from him. Moving on, up the card, Jeremiah Wells versus Court McGee. Started off a little bit sloppy. I was worried. Jeremiah Wells was missing a couple of shots here and there, just over swinging and stuff like that, and out of nowhere, lands the big punch. I predicted Jeremiah Wells to win this one by first round KO. He gets it done by first round KO over Court McGee. Really impressive performance, and yeah, Jeremiah Wells is incredibly powerful. He's quite old now at 35, so I'd want him to stay active after this win and get right back in there. He got a performance bonus, an amazing KO. I just wish he didn't have to follow up because it was an out-cold KO. Could have been a spectacular walk-off. Throws the first 2 shots, misses them, but lands the left hook at the end of it, right at the tip of the chin, and down goes Court McGee. Listen, Court McGee, you've had your nose shattered. You've been dropped in your previous fights, wobbled in your previous fights, just got put out cold. Unless they're giving you a nice matchup like a Court McGee versus Tim Means, I don't believe that you should be fighting anymore. But really good performance by Jeremiah Wells. I picked him to win by first round KO, and that's what he did. I also picked Stamann to win, Maria Oliveira, Phil Hawes, and Daukaus. 4-1 on the card so far. Moving on. 5-1 on the card, sorry. Moving on. Jasmine Jasudavicius versus Natalia Silva. Now, a little bit underrated on this card, because it wasn't so exciting and there wasn't an amazing finish or anything along those lines. But Natalia da Silva looked amazing. I did not expect that whatsoever. I watched her regional fights. She did not look that good at all. She's very young, so I guess she's finally started taking it serious, and that's what we saw. It was hard to predict that going into it. I picked Jasudavicius to win, but she couldn't do anything to Natalia Silva. Couldn't out-grapple her. Just got shaken off every single time with a massive strength difference. And Natalia Silva just dominated the fight. Every single round. I don't know how she got a 10-8 round scored for her by Chris Lee. Chris Lee again. We'll get to him in the main event again. But either way, Natalia Silva kicking at range. Good punches as well. Almost dropped Jasmine Jasudavicius in the first round. Kind of dropped her anyway, so maybe that's why he gave a 10-8. But even then, I don't see it as a 10-8 round. But Natalia Silva, amazing performance. Kicks on the outside, front kicks, head kicks all the time, spinning back kicks, all that stuff. Really good performance by Natalia Silva. Really good crisp striking technique on the feet. It wasn't a crazy one because it was so one-sided and Jasmine just sort of walked forward into punishment without changing the direction of the fight whatsoever. But she tried to grapple and just got shut down every time. So she was completely outmatched by Natalia Silva. And Natalia Silva took her to school in women's MMA. I'm looking forward to seeing the future of Natalia Silva because she looked amazing. And she's massively improved from her regional fights. She has 5 losses. I don't see her losing much going forward. Moving on. Up the card to another great fight on the main card, which was Adrian Yanez versus Tony Kelley. Fun scrap while it lasted. Tony Kelley did land some good shots here and there. A couple of kicks to the body, a couple of kicks to the legs and stuff like that. That's where Davey Grant had success. A couple of punches as well, but Adrian Yanez is so slick with his hands. A real coming out party for him in Texas. He got the crowd behind him as well. He's a native to Texas as well, so it was a really good performance by Adrian Yanez. Amazing performance. Amazing performance. Slick hands, tucking in those hooks. He looks like he's putting no power on his shots, but all he needs to do is touch the chin with them because he's got that good accuracy to spin the head around. He rocked Tony Kelley with like a cuffing right hand that didn't really look like it had too much power on it whatsoever. Maybe that's to do with a bad weight cut of Tony Kelley. He got rocked immediately by a shot. Didn't really look too bad, but then he got dropped afterwards by a nice vicious combo. Down goes Tony Kelley. Rocks him again. At one point, Tony Kelley starts charging back at Yanez and lands like a 4-punch combo that kind of busts Yanez's nose a little bit and makes it start bleeding a little bit. But then Yanez recovers, composes himself, nice and patient. Kelley's throwing kicks. Yanez is finding his timing, tucks the shots around the guard. He tucks him in. That's what... I don't really use that to describe anyone else's punches. Yanez tucks in his shots, whips him in there. They're so nice to watch. Really good hands. I don't want to see him versus a grappler anytime soon. He called out Nate Maness and Sean O'Malley, the 2 bantamweights with fights. Really stupid call out, but I'd like to see him versus Rafael Assunção, Kyler Phillips, Adrian Yanez versus Kyler Phillips. Yes, please. Really good performance by Adrian Yanez, and he finishes off Kelley on the ground. Could have been stopped a little bit earlier, but he puts him out cold, and the referee jumps in and kicks Tony Kelley on the... He gets a kick in himself. Kicks Tony Kelley square in the face. The referee had a vendetta. Brazilian ref, I guess. Moving on. Up the card to another amazing fight on the main card, which was Gregory Rodrigues versus Julian Marquez. Another amazing performance where Gregory Rodrigues got a performance bonus. They cashed out today on performance bonuses, the fighters, because Gregory Rodrigues... Fair play to Julian Marquez. He's got a hell of a chin. This ain't bantamweight where someone toughs it out or featherweight where someone toughs it out. This is the middleweight division. They got heat in their hands. And Gregory Rodrigues is on roids. And he was swinging big shots at Marquez, rocking him all over the place. He got 3 official knockdowns on Marquez in that fight. Laid him out cold by the end of it. But Marquez, it was like Holloway versus Cater situations. Where Rodrigues would be rocking him against the cage and Marquez would just start swinging back wild shots. And I was thinking maybe for a second, oh, here comes Marquez starting to do some good work. But Gregory Rodrigues stayed patient, found his range, rocked Marquez again. There was at one point Marquez was just out on his feet, really badly rocked, just like sort of wobbling there. And then Rodrigues puts him away with a clean right hook around the guard. And down goes Marquez, out cold. Amazing performance by Gregory Rodrigues. Picked him to win. I picked Yanez to win as well. Both guys had great performances. I said Rodrigues would get the KO, and that's what he did. An amazing performance against Julian Marquez. And yeah, one to watch out for in the middleweight division. Still 30, even though he looks 70. Roids. Lots of roids. Either way, amazing performance. Barn burner back and forth. Rodrigues too powerful and got the first punch that rocked a guy. So you're just going to pile onto that once you do that. Moving on. Up the card, Damir Ismagulov versus Kutateladze. I can spend some time talking about this. This was a top 5 level MMA fight. This was a top 5 lightweight level MMA fight. Like, both of these guys are going to be top 5 in the lightweight division moving forward. I have no doubt about that. Maybe Garam might take a little bit longer to get there now, but both of these guys, it was an amazing fight. It really was. The numbers don't dictate how good it was, because the technique that was shown was just so amazing. The scrambles that were shown as well were really good. I gave the first round to Kutateladze, and in the second and third round to Ismagulov. The third round, if it went to Garam, I wouldn't have minded. I mean, I picked Garam to win. I thought he was going to get the job done. I thought he had more finishing potential. And in the first round where he rocked Damir badly, I thought, hang on a second here, he's going to get the finish. But yeah, Ismagulov showed good toughness, good grit. Came back, won the second round very clearly. I think no one has a problem with that. 1-1 going into the third round. I'd have no idea how one of the judges had it 30-27. First round was clearly, and I mean clearly, Garam Kutateladze's round. Clear. So that Jason Staffing guy should never be allowed to ref a fight again. Clearly round 1, Garam Kutateladze. Round 2, Damir rallies, lands some jabs, really good jabs all night long, really good straight right hands. It was a battle of the hooks of Garam versus the straight shots of Ismagulov, and Garam would go to the body, Damir would throw some knees to the body, both guys would throw elbows off the break and stuff like that. Garam was throwing body kicks and stuff, but Damir was just stinging him with right hands as he did it, so really impressive performance. 1-1 going into the third, and a very close third round. I think a few factors played into it in the third. Garam failed a lot of takedowns in a close round on the feet. He also threw an illegal knee. Now, I want to make sure it was an illegal knee before I start talking about this, because I know a lot of people are almost a bit weirded out by that, but I do believe it did hit him in the face. You know? Ismagulov versus Kutateladze. Knee. Let's just type in knee and hopefully it comes up. It does not come up. Amazing news, I must say. Absolutely amazing news. But there was a knee that landed in the third round, and it was to the neck, but the top of the knee hit the bottom of the chin of Ismagulov. Don't throw those knees, Garam. You kind of lost it for yourself. Now, people are saying Herb Dean costed Ismagulov this fight, but at the same time, why are you risking kneeing someone in the neck? People are going to say that was to the chest. That was not to the chest. It really was not to the chest. Garam separated on the ground, stuffed the takedown well. What he should have done is just thrown a couple of punches. He would have won the third round based on that. But instead, he knees, and it genuinely does hit the neck and the lower chin area of Damir. Not allowed. You can't do that. It's a stupid rule. You should be allowed to do it. But Garam Kutateladze messed it up for himself. This is not a Herb Dean problem, I don't believe. So yeah, I think it landed right under the neck. It touched the chin. You saw the face of Damir tweak that way. Speaking of which, Garam kind of messed it up for himself. He also got stung by a big right hand at the very end of the round that kind of like shook him for a second. So that kind of swayed it towards Damir's way as well. I'm not going to call it a robbery even if I did pick Garam Kutateladze. 30-27 is ridiculous though. Either way. Speaking of Damir's face twitching to the side, I watched the Alves fight, and I did not notice that twitch. Didn't notice it at all. Furthest thing from my mind. But he was, like, the fact that he has the record that he has with that type of facial twitch is actually ridiculous. How does he actually succeed as an MMA fighter with that much of a hindrance? I'm not talking, once every few minutes he did this weird thing. Every 10 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, how are you even functioning right now? Let alone beating Garam Kutateladze in a fight here. Crazy to me how he can even function with that problem. Ultra respect to Ismagulov. I was laughing at first, and then in the second round, I was thinking to myself, hang on, he's for sure got Tourette's or something. And he's still whooping ass and has a great record and might go on to be a top 5 guy at lightweight. Like, that might be one of the worst hindrances other than Nick Newell having one arm. Like, every 5 seconds, and even if he didn't do it for 20 seconds, it would, like, charge up and he'd do 3 in a row, just twitching to the side. Must have been terrible. If I was Garam, I'd start thinking to time that shit and throw a big punch when it happened, but he never could find it, so Ismagulov, very close fight. He got the job done. I picked Garam. I'm not going to complain robbery here. Extremely close. Moving on to another fight on the card, which was Joaquin Buckley versus Albert Duraev. I picked Joaquin Buckley by TKO. In the second round, he got the job done by TKO. Really good performance by Joaquin Buckley. He showed great stuff. Albert Duraev is slow, unathletic, non-powerful, predictable, not great at takedowns, not great at top control. I saw his... People watched his Contender Series bout and they said that Duraev's the new Dagestani on the block. Or wherever he's from, Chechnya, whatever. He's that new one of them guys on the block. He's going to ragdoll everyone. This guy's a future champ. And the odds heard that, apparently. I watched Duraev's fight against Kopylov. It was not good. He couldn't control him, and he got rocked in that fight. He's been KO'd 3 times previously in his career. Has not shown a great chin. He cuts a lot of weight himself. Like, Duraev just looked average on the regional scene. He did look average. He got on the Contender Series, looked amazing, and that's what people remember him for. But in a Roman Kopylov fight, he looked average again. So I gave it to Joaquin Buckley. I thought he was going to win by KO. And that's what he did. He looked amazing against Duraev. Hurt him in the first round. Won that round based on damage. Rocked him in the first round a couple of times. And started stuffing the takedowns and landing shots off the break and stuff like that. Rocked Duraev with a head kick in round 1. And also shut his eye as he went for a takedown by clipping him there as well. Really good win by Joaquin Buckley in the first. Then round 2, he gets put down for a bit. Stays calm, stays patient, works his way back up, drops Duraev badly before that moment, drops Duraev badly on the ground, and then Duraev shoots for a takedown. Joaquin Buckley separates himself, breaks the grip, postures up to his knees, gets the underhook, stands back up, escapes out of there and frames off. Really basic stuff from Joaquin Buckley. Good stuff from him. And then in round 2 again, he starts posturing at the end, rocks Duraev one more time with a big shot in a really cool fashion. Great win by Joaquin Buckley, seriously improved. Still making some technical mistakes. He threw so many head kicks. I didn't think they were necessary. Maybe it's something he was looking for in the build-up, but he threw so many. I think he threw 27. He threw 105 significant strikes. I wouldn't be surprised if 30 of them were head kicks. I'll be honest. He threw so many. Dial it back a bit. This ain't the B-leagues. Dial back the head kicks. Use the hands a bit more. That's what you're good at. But yeah, Joaquin Buckley started finding his groove and put down Duraev badly at the end of the second. Duraev's eyes swollen shut. They call off the fight. Duraev kind of quit, but they had to call off the fight anyway because that's a broken orbital. Let's be real. Moving on to the co-main events. Tim Means versus Kevin Holland. I was worried for Holland, but he pulled through. Really good performance by him. Not a great performance. A good performance by Kevin Holland. I picked him to win this one by TKO in the second round. He got it done by submission in the second round. Weird sub. It didn't look like it was in, but I guess Tim Means just didn't get his breath back. There was like a good submission attempt that was in, and he was getting close to tapping Means. Then Means kind of escaped it, but got put right back in, and I guess he just never got a chance to get like another breath back, so he was still like being starved of oxygen, so he had to tap out. But yeah, Kevin Holland latched up the choke, dash choke in the second round after rocking Tim Means badly with a straight right hand. Holland, when he throws wild hooks and wild techniques, leaves himself so vulnerable. When he goes straight down the pipe and starts to find his range in a fight and find his technique and really warm up and not be so sloppy in the first, he really does well landing those straight punches. The straight right hand of Holland is his best move that he throws, and it was one that worked for him here against Tim Means. Hurt him badly in the second, went after him, found the dash choke, got a performance bonus. Really impressive by Kevin Holland. First round, he won it clearly as well. Tim Means got some ground control time, had a takedown here and there, but Holland worked his way back up. Tim Means just couldn't keep him down. Holland also stuffed a couple of takedowns, 2 on the feet. Means was very hell-bent on trying to get it to the ground. Means landed a couple of good hooks on the inside, and Holland was being a little bit sloppy in the first, and it was worrying me, but Holland kept it on the outside in the first. Side kicks to the body, front kicks to the body, kicks to the legs, kicks to the body in general. The kicks need a bit of work, but all in all, he beat Tim Means pretty reasonably. Second round finish. There's just some things he still needs to brush up on. Be a bit cleaner in that first round, and stop being so goofy. I know it works for him, but someone's going to catch you. You know what I'm saying? And at welterweight, draining a bit of weight, it's more likely you'll get KO'd, I do believe. But, you know, really good performance by Kevin Holland. Looked great. Just a few things he needs to tidy up in the first. But he really does get good as the time goes on. So, looking forward to what he does next. He called out Sean Brady. No. Nico Price. And don't fight in September. He wants September Sean Brady. No. Main card, UFC 277, is in Texas again. Fight Nico Price on there. End of story. Then you can fight a ranked opponent. We need to build you as a star, Kevin. Moving on to the main event. Josh Emmett versus Calvin Kattar. I gave the fight to Calvin Kattar. It was a good fight from both guys, though. Josh Emmett throwing hooks to the arms of Calvin Kattar. A couple of them snuck through here and there, and a couple of them landed to the body as well. A couple of decent leg kicks landed by Josh Emmett as well. And I thought Calvin won this fight pretty clearly. Round 1 could have gone to him. He did more visible damage. He cut open Josh Emmett in that round. Josh Emmett's shots weren't landing clear. They were bouncing off of the arms of Calvin. Round 2, very close round. Round 1 could go either way. Round 3 can go either way, in my opinion, as well. But round 2, Calvin and Emmett are going very tit for tat. Both guys landing big shots. Calvin landing clean ones. Emmett landing glancing ones. And a couple of big clean ones himself as well. And then Calvin sits him down with a jab for a second and lands a big shot as well. And Emmett's on retreat. And I thought that was enough to win Calvin round 2. Apparently not. But apparently yes. Because 2 of the judges gave round 2 to Calvin. But Chris Lee gave round 4 to Josh Emmett, where Calvin dominated him and picked him apart and rocked him and chased him down and really beat him up. Really clear win for Calvin. Very close fight in the first 3 rounds. Close fights can still have clear winners. According to the scoring, Chris Lee should never be able to judge again. You can't score round 4 to Emmett unless you are pre-rigged and you have been paid off to give the fight to Emmett. Kattar won that fight, man. But Emmett looked good. He made it really close against Kattar, and you have to be good to do that. So, good for him. I don't think he beats the top guys. I don't want to see him fight the top guys next because I just don't think he'd do well. That wasn't a convincing performance. Took a lot of damage at 37. He's good. He's good enough to make it close with Kattar. Tricky matchup for Kattar in general, but I thought Kattar did enough. I'm pretty annoyed by it. But a good fight nevertheless. Good stuff from both of them. They put on a bit of a show at the end. The decisions of this card were good decisions. Not good in terms of correct, but like, they were good long fights. You know, you had short finishes, craziness, and then you had like good scrappy fights that went to a decision as well. Great card overall. Maybe one of the best cards of the year, I would say. It's in the mix with 275 and UFC London. 100%. I think it takes it. If it weren't for that robbery in the main event, I'd probably say this does deserve the card of the year, because think of the card. Dolidze, brutal KO in the first round. Phil Hawes, absolute massacre. Stamann, brutal finish in the first round at women's MMA fight. Ricardo, Ramos, Chavez, brutal spinning elbow KO. Wells, brutal one-punch KO, women's MMA fight. Adrian Yanez, brutal finish in the first round. Gregory Rodrigues, brutal KO blow in the first after a wild scrap. Demir and Garam go to war. Buckley and Duraev. Buckley gets a good finish. A little bit weird on the stoppage, but still, good finish. Tim Means, Kevin Holland. Great win from Kevin Holland. And Kattar Emmett, a good scrap. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Every male fighter got a bonus. Toodle Pip, I'll see you later. Goodbye. Yeah, great card. I think I went like, what, 8-4? I should have gone 9-3. I should have got the Kattar win, but they took it, so fuck it, whatever. Goodbye.